A very good evening to one and all present at this webinar, uh, interview session. I am Anubhav Yadav, your host for this webinar today. And today we are connected with one of the very eminent personalities from this legal industry, Mr. Vishnu Tandi, sir. So he is an corporate lawyer and currently working in Tamilnad Mercantile Bank as a law officer. Before joining TMB, he worked in the National Company Law Tribunal, which is NCLT, Chennai and Jaipur. He has a rich experience and expertise in matters pertaining to Companies Act and Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and other aspects of business and corporate laws in India. He is gold medalist and postgraduate in corporate law. He has published numerous articles, research papers in national and international journals. He is also the founder of Lex Khoj Publications. He has been awarded as Budding Achiever by International Institutional Organization. He has also been awarded by Indian National Bar Association for his outstanding performance in the legal field during his law school. Recently, he has been nominated for Young Achiever Award by Indian Achievers Forum. So, with all these achievements, sir, thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and coming to this webinar. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Thank you. So, sir, let's not waste time. Let's go on to this interview session. With your permission, sir.
Sure.
So, okay, sir. The first question is the very obvious question. What is your motivation for joining law schools?
Actually, joining of law school was not pre-planned. Actually, it happened by chance. I was commerce student, and all of my friends were joining CPT course for CA, CS. They started joining that, and my father came up with this proposal that you should do something different. Being a commerce students, all are doing same thing. You should switch your line and you should do something different from others. So he proposed that this law school 5-year law course is good course in my opinion. If you are really interested in that, you should also give a try. So after that, I joined one coaching institute and I started preparing for law schools. So this it was never planned as some students plan after 10th they start planning that after doing 12th they will go in this field. But I planned this after passing my 12th. So it happened by chance. It was not pre-planned for me.
Okay. I've noticed, sir, this one thing that fathers have a very important role in their children's career, like choosing path for their careers. Don't you agree with, sir?
Yes, I agree. Because my father is also commerce graduate. So he also did same thing like others commerce student do BCom, or if they are really outstanding, so they will go for CS or CA examination. So my father always gave me this idea that you should not follow this monotony. You should always do something different. So he used to see means when I was in 8th standard, that time he came up with the proposal for Army Institute. Army also has some schooling program. After 8th class, they give admission in. So that time he came up with that proposal, but that time I was also not capable to understand the future and all these things. So I didn't take that seriously. But after 12th, I took my father's proposal seriously, and now here I am. So obviously, I agree that fathers play a very important role in forming a pathway for our future.
Truly, sir, truly. So, sir, the second question is, how was your journey in law school? What are your things? What have you done? How is your journey?
Journey was very interesting, and initially it was very challenging because I studied in Hindi medium school. So in my place, I belongs to a very small place in Rajasthan. So in my place, there was no English medium school. So I studied in Hindi medium. After completing my 12th, when I joined law school, all the teachers were from South India. All subjects they used to teach in English. So initially for 1 year I faced a lot. In first semester it was like very challenging for me. I used to study midnight. All of my friends used to play that you are, since the beginning you have started studying, there is no need for this much hard work in the law schools. We can clear the exams by overnight study. But for me it was very challenging. I used to study a lot in first semester. Then in first semester I scored good. It was not outstanding, but it was good. After that, once we start getting success, automatically motivation comes. So after that, I kept my studies continued. And my opinion is that law school is like a horse race. You cannot at the end you
Absolutely,
cannot
sir.
win. You have to, from the very first semester you have to work hard, until the end of your same hard work, so only you can get success. So and in my law school, as I told that initially for 1 year and 2 year I could not do much apart from studies. I used to only study. I used to take part only in the internal assessment project, all these only. After that, one of my teachers suggested that if you want to improve and if you want to get some exposure in the field, you should do some extraordinary thing. So I started joining some legal website like Loctopus, Legal Desire. These website I work, Knowledge Teas. With these website I started working. From there I got idea that I can also do something different. So in 2015, when I was in third year, I started my own website. I started with the name Law and Legal. After that, I changed this name as a Lexcos. So initially, it was a knowledge sharing platform. We used to share the events. What are the events going to happen in law schools, different law schools? Later on, I converted it into publication house. Now we have two international journals. Apart from that, I also started one more website that Writolex. So there we used to write research paper, PhD thesis for others, projects, moot court memorials. These things we started. I made a team of 30 people, and in that way we explored like that was the first research assistance website. At that time there was no other such website who used to provide these moot court memorials. So we continued that website for 2 years, but after some legal complications, I shut down that business. But Lexcos is still running.
That's really, sir. I mean, I can say a motivating journey of a law school. So, sir, this brings us to our third question. Sir, you've been awarded with Indian National Bar Association Award during your law school, I guess. Okay, so
Yes.
what contribution did you make which took you for way forward to this award?
Indian National Bar Association is a voluntary body of lawyers, and now that time in 2014 or 15 they started one student wing. There they used to educating pupils. They used to motivate the students. They also used to started conducting some webinars and the seminars, debate competitions. So in that way, I was joined as a campus ambassador. I worked 6 months as a campus ambassador, and then seeing my contribution, they promoted me as a media head. So I was handling their social media accounts. So I also used to take part. I used to motivate the students. I used to encourage the student to take part in moot court competition. I used to provide some legal aid to the vulnerable class of people, like less educated people. I used to tell them about the little bit about the law, because law is a very dry area. If you go and start teaching uneducated people, they will not understand. But if we tell them that what are the basic rights you have, which you can claim, nobody can cannot snatch their that rights. So these things I contributed toward this. So for that contribution, they awarded me for awarded me as a best campus ambassador award.
Okay, so that's really great, sir. That's really great. So my next question is, with the law school, that what according to you is success in a law school? What a third year, let's say, or a fifth year law student, or in a 5 year program, what he or she should do so get success in a law school?
As I in previous question, I told that law school is a horse race. So I would suggest that one should start taking interest in the internships from the first semester onward. You should not miss any like after semester we get 1 month's holiday. That break we should utilize. You should do internship. We should visit the courts, so that we will get the idea that which are the fields which we can explore as our future. So I would suggest that different field law students should go different. They should intern with the various advocates, with the law firms. If PSU, if gets opportunities in PSU, so these areas law students should focus. They should not only focus on the marks. Marks are, will not go initially for maybe for campus placement or pre-placement offer, that may help, but
Truly.
marks is not the only criteria to get success. So law students should explore other areas. They should participate in co-curricular activities, and moreover, they should focus on the internships and the moot court presentations, moot court paper presentations. So that will give that will help in developing skills, and internship will help to decide the career. For example, in our university, the internship was compulsory. 6 internship was compulsory for getting the degree. But I never missed even a single internship. Every semester, after every semester, I used to intern different places. I did not continue with the same law firm or a same advocate. I explored the field in district court, high court, supreme court, law firms, uh, NGOs, everything I explore. And if we are working with the advocates also, there also we should explore, like not only to the criminal advocate, we should also work with the corporate, we should also work with the banking advocates. So we will get the variety of works, nature of the works, and then we can identify our interest, so that we can easily choose that what is our destination, where we can go, and where we can make our futures. So I would suggest that always do internships with the different places, not should not continue as same place and same area.
Truly, sir, truly. So let's come out of the law school. So how's your experience? How's your experience as a corporate lawyer? And what are your fields of like corporate works?
Soon after graduation, I joined one law firm where we used to do various corporate litigations. It was not purely a corporate firm, it was like corporate litigations. We used to represent many corporate groups like Ansal. Corporate firm was based in Gurgaon, so Ansal was the biggest client over there. So there we used to prepare various kinds of litigations where corporates are involved. There we along apart from that corporate, we used to work in the trademark field, registration of trademark. Then some objections come for registered trademark. Also, then some objections come. So how to remove these objections? So in the corporate litigations, I worked for almost 8 to 9 months. I worked. After that journey was awesome journey. After that, I got selected in NCLT, so I did not continue in the firm. But in NCLT also, it was a corporate nature only, because all the corporates cases, NCLT is main body for the corporates only. So there also we used to deal with the many corporate, but there we used to work with the honorable judges. So that was quite different, but litigation, in corporate litigation, that is different. So people are notions that corporate is only going into the corporate companies and working as an in-house counsel. No, it is not so. There are different in corporate also. There are corporate different field, like some may be corporate drafting documents for the corporates, some may be litigation of the corporate, some may be internal guidance or internal suggestions, opinions to the corporators for establishing new ventures. So these are variety of things in the corporate law.
Truly, sir, truly. So, like, next question is, you in the previous questions you've talked about your difficulties with went into when you went to South India, you faced difficulty in English language. So,
Yeah.
according to you, what are the other difficulties you faced in your initial practice just after graduating from 5-year program? What are the difficulties you faced?
One of the one difficulty which everybody will face in the legal field is the money, because without experience nobody will give sufficient money. So if you have strong background, then you may not face any difficulty. But for the first generation lawyer, money will be the most difficult part for a litigation. Lot of the person switch from the litigation to different field because of this problem. Because if you join small law firms, because for tier 1 and tier 2 firms you have to be very extraordinary. Like for joining a merchant or a AZB partner, you have to be very extraordinary. Apart from that, some links also help. If you have links, then only you can get. So initially, soon after graduation, first thing we'll face this money problem, because law firms, small law firms will not give much stipend to the fresh graduates. Second thing will be that they will not much guide you. Have to choose a lawyer or a law firm which can guide us, that in what way we can start our practice, in what way we can continue, we can make our future in the litigations. Because initially nobody will guide, they will only test your knowledge. Generally what seniors do, they used to give file, make plaint. Because law
Truly, sir.
school working in means law school is very different from the real life experience. So soon after graduation we cannot draft the petitions. Making memorial
Truly,
is
sir.
different from making a petition for the court. So they will not guide, seniors will not guide. So before choosing, we should think that we should keep that thing in also in mind, that we should choose a person who can also teach us, who can guide us how to form the documents, how to frame the petitions. So that thing also generally we face. Language, English is must. Still my English in litigation, like if we are working in a metro city or any good like a big court like a Gurgaon court, if we are working, English is must, because every petition will be filed in English. If you are working a very small, like in my place, if I work, then there all the documents will be drafted in Hindi. But for working in a good place, English is must. So we should also improve our English for the litigations. And these are the initial things, initially problems which we face in the initial years.
Truly, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for pointing out those problems so that we can learn from those. So my next question is, when do you realize and how do you realize that banking sector is the one, like you've worked as a law officer, like how do you realize that banking sector is the one, your expertise area?
Actually, banking, my father also retired from bank. So I used to observe him, his timing. I like his timing, that if we go in the litigation, timing will be very worse, because there is no time for returning back. There is time for reaching to office, but there is no time for returning back to home.
Truly, sir.
So I made my mind in my law school itself that I will join in as a law officer in banks. So I tried for that, but initially, because banking, they need experience. No bank will hire freshers. So for initial year, I faced a problem. I appeared in many interviews. I applied. I didn't appear for interview, but I applied for various places. But because of lack of experience, nobody has considered. So after that, I initially 1 year I practiced. Then I joined NCLT. I worked there for 2 years. After that, after getting some experience in the field, then I got the chance, because when I was in South India, I was posted in Chennai, and our bank, Tamilnad Mercantile Bank, is also South India based. Its headquarters is in Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu. So that time this vacancy came, and I applied, and first interview itself I cleared it, and I joined.
That was really great, sir. Sir, now the most awaited question, and I guess like all the participants have joined because of this question. So, who is a law officer? What is the criteria to become law officer? Firstly, major question is, who is a law officer?
General notion is that law officer is a person who is do licensing work, and that he will take work from the bank and coordinate with the advocates, but it is not true. Before joining, I was also of the same opinion, that we have to only coordinate with the advocates, and we have to keep our legal department updated about the case laws and all these things. But it is not true. After joining only, I realized that what is really the law officer is. In For the law officer, all the banks have different offices, zonal office, or some banks call regional office. So all the banks are divided in some office, regional or zonal offices. For example, our bank have 12 regional office. All regional office have different various branches. Like in one regional office, there will come 2 to 3 states. So all 2 to 3 state branch will come under the controlling power of regional office. Law officer will only be posted in the regional office. He will observe all the legality of all branches which comes under the control of regional office. So he will keep watch on all the branches under his control, that all the branches are executing legal documents correctly, they are paying stamp duty correctly. Because bank in field, this bank law officer work is diverse. It is not limited to only court related work. Loan documents, branches are sanctioning loan. So while obtaining loan document, they also form they have to enter into contract with the parties. So law officer has to ensure that what are the terms and condition entered in the loan agreement. Before sanctioning, before signing by the bank and the parties, law officer has to vet that document. He has to check all the legal complications which may arise in future. He has to check all the documents, whether stamp duty, because stamp duty is paid on the amount of loan. So whether stamp duty is paid, whether this mortgage is created, that is valid. Because as per Surface Act, you cannot mortgage the agriculture land. If But branches are not aware, if they have mortgaged the agriculture land, banks cannot enforce that. So law officer has to ensure what kind of mortgage, what kind of property bank has mortgage. So law officer has to check that thing also. Apart from that, many law enforcement agency, for example IT department may send any notice to the branch, that this such and such account is maintained at your branch, we need details of the person. Branch cannot simply give, because they don't know the authenticity of the letters received from the authority. So branches will send to the law officer that this letter we have received, what action we have to take. So law officer will guide the branch head that what action you have to take. Likewise, banking ombudsman is also there. If a customer is not satisfied with any service, or if any deficiency of service is there and the customer has suffered, he may approach to banking ombudsman. Ombudsman is authority appointed by Reserve Bank of India. So he may file complaint to RBI before banking ombudsman. So law officer has to ascertain the facts, that what was the real fact, what is the complaint. To resolve the complaint, law officer has to give representation before RBI, before ombudsman. Apart from that, consumer court law, customer may approach to consumer courts, customer may approach to any other court, civil court. So for these things also, law officer has to guide the branches properly. Apart from that, most important work, these are the miscellaneous work which law officer do. The most important work for the law officer is to enforce the security interest. Once the account become NPA, to regularize that account, to make recovery from that account, law officer will enforce the security which was mortgaged with the bank. For that, SURFACI Act is there. No law school teach this subject. This subject is most undermined by the law schools. If we are going for specialization, then only they used to teach the SURFACI Act. But in basic law school, it means 5-year law school, no law school teaches the SURFACI Act, but it is most important for the banking. So the most important work of law officer is also under the SURFACI Act, initiation of SURFACI. Once the account become NPA, law officer has to prepare demand notice. He has to give 60 days demand notice to the borrower that within 60 days you can make the payment. Otherwise, we will enforce the security interest. Enforcing security interest means the property which is mortgaged with us, bank will sell that property in public auction and make the recovery. If after auctioning the property, if bank is not realized the entire amount, for example, loan was given for 50 lakhs. At the time of sanctioning the loan, security value was also 50 lakhs. But for example, now due to lockdown, the property value has come down. So now if account become NPA, property value will be 30 lakhs, but the loan was 50 lakhs. So we've sold the property in the SURFACI, but how to recover that balance 20 lakhs? So for that balance 20 lakhs, law officer has to file suit. So for filing suit, law officer has to approach to panel advocate. He has to give all the documents to the panel advocate. Panel advocate will prepare draft and send to the law officer for final approval. Again, law officer will go through the plaint if any corrections need, all these things. After that, giving final approval by law officer, panel advocate will file in the court and then a suit will go on. But before joining, I was of the opinion that only we have to, advocate will take care of all the legal issues. We have to only coordinate with the advocate and then we have to update the higher official. It is not so. This is the real thing which law officer do in the banking sector.
That was a really great definition you've provided us of a law officer. So my next question is, what is the eligibility criteria for this job post? Or is there any particular exam which a person can appear so that he can become a law officer? What is the criteria, sir?
There are different criteria. First, there are scale, like scale 1 to scale 6. There are 6 scale in banking industry. So if we are applying as a fresher, freshers means minimum 2-year experience every bank asks. But for a fresher means for banking. If you are applying for fresher as a banking, then we can write one exam conducted by IBPS. IBPS conduct exam, common exam for all the nationalized bank. So that exam we can apply. In that syllabus will be prelims and main exam. In prelims, they will ask all general reasoning, English, math, general knowledge. These things they will ask. In main exam, they ask law. In that will be objective type question, but negative marking will be there. For higher, like if we have experience of 2 years in a banking and then we are applying for scale 2, then nationalized bank conduct exam, their own exam they conduct. So that, but that need experience, minimum 2-year experience they need in any scheduled commercial bank. Apart from that, private sector bank, they conduct their own exam. Recently, South Indian Bank has conducted their own exam. And some banks, they directly conduct interview. So directly interview basis, they also suggest. But main essential criteria is 60% marks. Private sector bank always prefer minimum 60% marks and 2-year experience. Minimum they need. And nationalized bank, they ask 55% and they conduct their exam two exam: prelims, main, then interview. This is the procedure for getting job in banking sector.
So rightly said, sir. There is one more question I want to add in this. So, which is the initial month, or which is the month these exams are conducted, basically?
Basically, they conduct in the month of November and December. Most of the banks
No.
conduct in November and December only, and they issue advertisement in the month of August, September or October. They issue advertisement, and most of the bank conduct exam in the November end or December beginning.
Really great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, what is the right time for preparing for these exams? What is the right strategy you can apply to encode these exams? What is the right time, sir?
After getting like first 2 year experience is mandatory for all the banks. So after obtaining experience, during like we if one is prepared, one is doing practice for initially 2 years, that time they can somewhat they can focus on reasoning, general knowledge. We have to update general knowledge. They only ask for banking related things, new committee forms in banking, if new norms are introduced, like now new concept of bad bank is introduced. So these are the general knowledge about the banking industry. We have to keep update about that. And the prelims exam, which I recently discussed, prelims exam is only for qualification. It is not, marks will not be added in the final score. So there we have to only qualify. We have to just cross the minimum passing marks. So there we need not to score. So only we have to make our command over some reasoning, mathematicals. Recently, I cleared Punjab National Banks. Their math cutoff was only five marks. So that is only qualificatory. We need not to score more. If we have score in 50 out of 50, then also we will be on the same place. If we score 6 marks, then also we will be on the same place. So we have to attend all the subjects equally. We should give preference all the subjects equally, and we should focus only on the passing marks. We should not concentrate on the we should not much concentration is not needed for the reasoning, math and gk part. Main score is required for the mains exams, and mains exam is purely for the legal field. So legal field, if you are practicing, that time we with the practice we get the experience that what are the main important sections. Because while studying law school, we don't know which are the important sections. But in the exam they ask only these provisions which are used in daily in day-to-day business, which are coming, like what is NPA, like what are the main act which are in for which are used to recover the money. So these are the basic, which are very basic for the banking. That type of questions only they ask. So that we, with the practice, with the immense of time, we get to know that what are the important in the legal field. But for the prelims exam, I suggest that we should only focus for the qualifying marks. Each subject we have to cross the cutoff. So we should give equal weightage to all the subject, but we should not give much focus on the on the subjects like reasoning, maths and English and gk.
So that's really great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, is there any subject in a law school which a student should focus if he want to become a law officer or want to go in a banking sector?
In law school, companies law is one of the subject. If one wants to go in law officer in banking sector or in any PSU also, if he wants to go, company laws is the most important subject. Apart from that, all are if somebody is interested only in the in as a in-house counsel or law officer, then company law and for the corporate field, SEBI is also important. For the banking, SURFACE is the most important. Apart from SURFACE, there is one act, RDTB and FIX, Recovery of Debts Due to Bank and Financial Institution Act, that is purely dealt by the DRT, Debts Recovery Tribunals. So these are the, for the banking, there are two acts, SURFACE and RDDB and FI Act, and the Companies Law. Companies Law is most important for all the in-house counsel or the law officer in any field, whether it is company or whether it is PSU or any company. Apart from that, recently one new law is introduced, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. That is also equally important for the companies as well as for the banking, because IBC deal with the two provisions. One is recovery, one is resolution. For banking, recovery, IBC is very helpful. And for the other companies, if company is not able to repay the loan, how it can revive its business, how it can restructure its business. So IBC is more important, much important. But these are the subjects which are not taught by any law schools. These are subjects only taught in the specialization during LLM subjects. Because IBC is introduced in 2016 only, so I don't think any law school has introduced this course. But SURFACE is there in, if we are doing specialization in banking law, or some law schools are also teaching the subject in the corporate law or business law also. So these are the subjects. These four subjects are most important for the law officers.
So thank you so much, sir. So my next question is there any banking field, is there any organization who provides what we can say a practical exposure of law as in form of internships? If there are any, sir, any suggestions for the students?
Reserve Bank of India, they provide internships, long internships for the 6 month they provide, and every year they issue notification for the internships, and based on the marks and interview, they select the students and they provide 6 month internships. They provide good stipend also. Nationalized bank, in my opinion, as per my knowledge, nationalized bank don't provide any internships. Private sector banks, they provide internships, but they means they provide 1 month or 2 months internships, but without any stipend. They don't give any stipend. But there will be in private sector, they will not get any practical exposure, because problem with the banking sector is that all the security issue is there for the banking. So all the systems are connected and controlled by the head office, and all the biometric system is there. So they will not give access, biometric access to interns. So practical means like a live practical experience interns will not get in the banking field. But yes, these other fields, like how law officer is coordinating with the branch, how they are resolving the complaints, how they are dealing with the NPA accounts, how they are coordinating with the advocates, panel advocates, how they are conducting legal audits. So these are physical work they can observe. So many private sector banks, they provide internships, but it can be get by only if we have good connection in the management, or if any senior law with the senior law officer, then only we can get, because of the security issue. Other if any person really interested, they can join banking law office of a bank panel advocate for the banks, like panel lawyer who are dealing with the banking matters. There they can get the experience, because for the legal like for the litigation related things, panel advocates will only do all these things, filing of the case, and then how disposal, how the case is disposed, because DRT procedure is very different from all other courts. Because in other courts we can we file suit and then we get decree, and then we have to execute that decree. But in DRT there are one is just that is called presiding officers. One person also sits, that is not necessary that he should be from judicial side, but he also act as a judge. He will be recovery officer. So first presiding officer will hear the matter, he will pass judgment, he will give order. That order will be called recovery certificate. That will not be called a judgment or a decree. That will be called recovery certificate. Along with that recovery certificate, we have to approach to recovery officer. He will take that recovery certificate and then he will explore the options that how this amount, outstanding amount, can be recovered from the customer. So to enforce that recovery certificate, recovery officer, who is also the person is appointed in the DRT, he will take all the measures by auctioning the property, by attaching the property of the borrower. So these experience can also be gained with attaching the panel advocate, who is working for the banks as a panel advocate, or who is dealing only with the banking related matters.
So thank you so much, sir. So my next question is, how's your personal experience working in Tamilnad Mercantile Bank?
Tamilnad Mercantile Bank is my experience is good here. Last 1.5 years I have been working here, and I am posted in Ahmedabad, and 24 branches are there in my control. And here I am the only person in the legal department. Me and one of my clerk, only 2 person, we are handling 24 branches. So here I am getting vast experience. If we are working in a nationalized bank, there we will not get much experience, because there will be 2-3 person and the work will be divided. One person will be given only litigation related person, one person will be given only legal audit work, one person will be given documentation related work. Here I am the only person for the 24 branches. So I am dealing all the cases, being it a banking ombudsman, being it a consumer case, being it DRT, being it high court, it's in civil court or documentation. So all these works, in variety of works I am handling here. So I am very much satisfied here, and it's very good experience in working in this bank. Only problem which I am facing is the language problem, because our bank is based on Tamilnad. So if we want to communicate to the head office, then we will face some problems, because all the meetings will take place in Tamil language. So that is the only problem which I face here. Otherwise, I am fully satisfied, and my experience, it's a very nice experience here, working here in this TMB.
So that was a quite lot of responsibilities you have. So my next question is, what was your first legal matter that you've dealt as a law officer?
First, actually, when I joined that time, I cannot disclose everything here, but there were only 18 cases were there, NP accounts were there, because this Ahmedabad region was set up only in 2016. Before that, this region was under the Mumbai region. So when I joined that time, there were only 18 NP accounts, and some 7 to 8 accounts which where suits were filed. So after my joining, the person who was there here as a law officer, he was transferred to another region, and then only I got the complete control of the legal department, because previously for 1 month I worked under his guidance or supervision, so that I can understand the culture and I can understand the procedure of working. So this first case, actually I cannot disclose here, because it is restrictions by
we understand, sir.
Yeah,
we understand. So that too, if there is any incident related to your first case which we should learn, any incident, little incident, if you want to share with us.
Yeah, I would like to share here one of the example which can be very helpful for the law officers who can learn from the mistakes. We can learn more. So what happened in one of our branch, we issued demand notice to the party. Party did not remit any money. After that, we applied for the physical possession. So we obtained physical possession also from the competent authority. After that, we went to auction the property. But before, when we went for the auction, before auctioning, we have to analyze the property. Means what are the boundaries of the property. So before putting auction sale, we approach to the branch so that we can verify the property exact whether this property is the same which we have mentioned in the demand notice, whether this is the same property which is mortgaged to us. As initially I told you that agriculture land cannot be mortgaged, it cannot be enforced under Surface Act. So that particular property was in the agriculture area, but the person, he converted the land into non-agriculture. The complete the like the land was 10-acre land. From the 10-acre, he converted 1,000 square meter in the non-agriculture, and he converted one go down there. When we approached there, as per record, it was okay. But when we approached physical verification, there is no road access because surrounding land is agriculture land. In between, he converted. So if we auction that converted land,
Yes, sir. Now audible, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. Now audible.
So the surrounding property is his personal property. So the person mortgager can approach to the converted land. He can approach, but if the person who buys, he will not able to approach that property because there is no road access to that property. So how we will auction that property? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sorry,
audible, sir.
some
No
call came.
problem, sir. No problem, sir.
So this was the problem which we faced because while sanctioning the loan, first we should analyze the property. We should see the boundaries, road access, everything. We should, before sanctioning the loan, we should analyze. It should not be like that. Oh, good properties. Person is asking loan of 25 lakhs and the property worth 50 lakhs. But we have not seen that how, if in case this account becomes NPA, how we will able to sell the property. That particular time, the law officer who was there, he did not see that thing. But now the problem is we cannot sell that property. Nobody will purchase that property. So this was the bad experience which I had. Now only thing is that this property can be, surrounding property can be attached by the court. We cannot attach the surrounding property. So now we have filed suit against the person that he has mortgaged this property, but we are not able to sell the property. So now we requested from the court to attach the surrounding land also, so that entire land including the converted mortgage land and other land, we can attach full property and then we can sell it through court. But it will be a very long procedure. It will take years and years. But if it is clear marketable property, we can easily sell in a first auction or second auction, and we will able to recover the monies. So this was the bad experience which I faced here.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience with us. So my next question is, let's say if someone is planning to switch his career from a corporate sector to a job as a law officer. So what are the things he should be aware of or he should focus on while shifting his career?
See, for work, like in-house work is for corporate and banking is almost same, because we have to give opinion in banking sector also and in corporate also. If we are working in a corporate as a in-house, there also we have to give opinion. So legal opinion part is same for both the field. But for the banking field, we should know about the banking terminology, because these are banking terminologies are most important for the for becoming law officer in the banking field. Because the terms like corporate guarantee for SMA accounts, NPA accounts, these are the terms which are very important for the law officers. Because branches are managers are well aware, because from the clerical cadres, they are working in this field only, so they know the terms. So they will always tell that this problem has happened, this account has slipped into SMA. If law officer does not know what is SMA, so it will be a problem. So the banking terminology should be clear in the law officer's mind, and other some banking concept. Who can give corporate guarantee? What are the essential criteria for the invoking these provisions of SURFACE? What are the threshold limit for invoking the provisions of SURFACE? What is the threshold limit for invoking IBC provision? So these are the basic things which we should first learn, we should understand. Then only we can able, or we can survive in the banking industry. And before switching to the banking industry, one should understand these things. And another thing I would like to tell, that the banking job is very risky job, because here we will not get everything in our hand. If we are working, for example, if we are working in a practice or corporate practice or litigation, we will get entire document in our hand. Then we will read it, and then we will prepare draft, or then we will give guidance. In banking industry, what happens? From the branches which is allocated to you, you will get call from the branches that this is the problem. They will not send all the documents, and documents cannot be immediately sent to you. They will over phone, they will ask. So you should understand, by telling, by virtually we should understand that what actually problem is, because legal terminology branch will also not be able to explain. So he will simply tell, for example, when GST notice has come to branch, and many now after this GST, they are sending numerous letters to the branches that this is one of your customer, GST is due. He's making fabricated invoices to save the GST. Like that, numerous letters comes. So they say that with this GST, they also write that like, for example, 2 lakhs liability is outstanding. You are directed to remit this amount into our account. So branches, what branches will understand? Okay, it is a statutory body. We have to immediately transfer this amount to their account. They will not understand whether this person is competent to issue notice, whether this person, whether we have the power to transfer this amount, whether we have the rights to take money from the customer's account and transfer to the government authority or statutory authority. So these are the things which person should first understand, because this may lead to a problem. If he will ask on the phone that we have received this letter, whether we can transfer this amount to the authorities account. If we say, okay, you transfer, this is your and the person transfers, later on we came to note that no, this was letter was for some different party, another party with the same name, or GST number was different, or some, this person may be this letter may be from a fake. Nowadays it is happening that person as with the name of government authority, they are asking money. So these are the problem. If we have tell the person over phone that yes, you have to transfer, and he has transferred, the liability will comes on the law officer. How without verifying the letter? How without checking the authenticity you have guided them to transfer? So these are the things which law officers should understand first.
Thank you so much, sir, for explaining us thoroughly. So before, and this is the last question of this interview session, I would request all my participants in this webinar to post their questions in the chat box if they have any. So, sir, last question for this interview session is, sir, I will divide this question in 3 parts. First part is, sir, what is your advice for a student who's just passed from school and who want to do in a banking sector, who want to go into banking sector, and he also wanted to join law? So what is your advice to that student who's just joined the law, then a student who is in 3rd year, and then a student who's just passed from 5-year course? So 3 advices.
Just the person who has just joined the law schools, I would advise that you should, from the first year itself, you should focus on the internships and different internships. If the person is interested in only banking, I will not suggest that he should only work with the banking lawyer, or he should only focus the banks. he should internships he should at least do with the variety with the various law firms, various places, so that by like just listening to others we cannot decide that what can be our future or what can be our dream job. So first, one should first explore the diverse area in the law, because law is now become very unique and multi job oriented field. Because initially what happened that who has graduated, who has done law, he will either he will practice as a law or he will go for judiciary. But now it is not so. There are various fields. A person can work in the law firms, person can start his individual practice, person can go in the LPO, person can join banking sector, private sectors. And now the one new trend has emerged, that is law researchers, that all the courts, whether it is consumer court, whether it is Supreme Court, High Court, every court are hiring law research associates. So first we should explore all the areas. We should work with the different lawyers, different places. Then only we should make a mind that yes, this can be our dream job. There only we can make our futures. For example, when I joined, my interest was litigation. I was very much interested in litigation. For 3 semesters continuously, I interned with the litigating lawyers. But after that, my area of interest switched, because when I saw the lawyers in the small court, like in Delhi, many courts like this Hazari and these courts, when I saw that thousands of lawyers are there, they are not having much work in their. That time I realized that litigation is a thing which is that I after that I switched to corporate firms. I interned in corporate firms, then advocate on record in Supreme Court. Like that, I will also suggest to the person who are in first year that you should also explore the various fields, various areas in law, and after that only you should decide your career. The person who are in third year, for them I would suggest that in after third year you will get choice of elective subject for specializations. So there will be like corporate, IPR, and criminal, constitutional. These specialization, person what generally thinks that if I have done my specialization in corporate, I will not able to go into litigation. It is not so. Specialization is only for the that additional advantage for you. So the person, if he is interested in corporate field, if in third year we somewhat somehow we will able to understand that what will be our future. So in third year we should first decide if we want to really go into the corporate, because if we have make a mind that litigation is not meant for us, then I would suggest you take corporate law. In corporate law, you will study various subjects like SEBI, corporate, merger, acquisitions. So various fields are there, like Ernest and Young, one law firm is there. So they hire person for the only specializations for the corporate restructuring. So merger, acquisitions, demerger, these kind of things. If we have done like if we are more interested in the securities market, so we can understand the SEBI. There we will understand insider trading and other various laws related to SEBI, because for SEBI also there is a specialization field. If the person is interested only in litigation, then criminal and constitutional they can, because in criminal and constitutional law there will be various deep knowledge of criminology and constitutional issues we will understand. So in third year we should at least make some mind that either this or that can be my future or my dream job. So based on that we can decide our subject for this specialization. And the person who just graduated, for them I would suggest that you should first, at least for 1 year, you should practice. Without practice you will not understand the real field in the legal area. Because if we go in any field, for example, if we go in house, there also at least they will ask basic understanding. If we have gone inside, person may ask that if we want to file this kind of suit, what is the procedure. So at least we should know these things, and these things can be only learned by the practice only. If we have soon after, by any way, if it is campus placement, we joined any private firms, for example, some construction company we have joined as a law officer from campus, if we have joined, but we don't know where to file a case. For construction company, RERA is a act. So if we don't know what is the procedure in RERA, we will not able to understand, we will not able to advise our company. For example, if we have joined any for example bank, if we have joined, we will not understand what is DRT, how DRT function. For example, we have joined any other company, other private limited company, so we don't know that how to file the statutory compliance, how to approach to the ROC, who is the competent person in the ROC, how the other corporate restructuring plans, how to approach to the NCLT for the restructuring plan. So I would suggest that at least for 1 year you should practice in the field where you want to work. Like if you want to work in the banking, so you should join a advocate who is dealing in the banking matters. If you want to work in any other private limited company, you should work with the person who is dealing in the corporate laws. If you want to work in any other other PSU, so if they are because PSU also have impanel advocates, so they should work first with the impanel advocates. So first at least you should practice in that particular field, and then only you should start applying for the another your dream job for the companies and corporates, so that after joining you will be able to understand what is the real what is the practical thing which you have to do in the legal field. So this is the my suggestion for all the three questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's take some questions from this in the chat section.
Yes.
I think, sir, there are none questions because, sir, you've explained everything with a very good sense of what we can say very thoroughly. So thank you so much, sir, once again for joining us today for this interview session. And I hope that everyone who's joined this session have learned a lot from you. So thank you so much, sir, first of all, joining this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for you and Vidhi Privartan for inviting me for this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I hope that we'll invite you one more time for other banking related problems and solutions so that we can, all the students can develop their skills in banking sector.
Yeah, sure. It would be my great pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.